Are you or are you not a Wrexham FC fan?
I'm not. I have
Okay.
watched at least most of the first series of Welcome to Wrexham. So I'm more aware of
Yeah.
them than I was when before Rob McElhenney and Reynolds invested in it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I bring it up because Ryan Reynolds certainly headlines the group, but his partner in crime, Rob McElhenney, who he purchased Wrexham FC a few years back and obviously has done a great job from a marketing standpoint, certainly with the documentary and then just the fandom far and wide, as well as Michael B. Jordan, have joined a group to invest in Alpine, taking a 24% stake of the team. The deal's valued around 218 million, pushing Alpine's value upwards of close to $1 billion at 900 million. It feels like at this point, Ryan Reynolds and McElhenney need to be on the 2024 ticket here in the United States to run for president and vice president because they're just kind of taking over everything, it seems. What did you make of this deal? And were you surprised at all to see more people clamoring to get involved in F1?
Well, we knew that Alpine was looking for a bit of investment, and some of the money that was paid in has gone off to pay off the debt the Renault Group, that basically the F1 team had to the Renault Group, which is his parent company. So it was clear that they were looking to to clear that debt and to also have some money to invest forward for the team. And not hugely surprised at the people involved. I mean, I wasn't expecting a couple of Hollywood actors, I have to say. And it seems like they came to the deal relatively late. It was led by Redbird and Otro, two capital investment funds, and they bring a lot of expertise in the world of sports, the world of marketing, and Alpine felt that actually, marketing, getting sponsors on board, licensing rights, all that kind of stuff was an area where they didn't have a huge amount of expertise. So they were very keen to point out at the launch of all this that it's not just about the money. Of course, the money is very important, but it's also about what the new investors are bringing to the team. And so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, how much of a change we see, how much of a shift we see, and whether we see any kind of Ryan Reynolds, Rob McElhenney involvement. I don't think you can expect a whole docuseries.
No.
I don't think it's quite the same investment, but there was talk at the launch that, perhaps there's something they can do with the visibility of the team. That was the word that was used by Alpine CEO Laurence Rossi about what they would bring and how they would basically make this Alpine brand a bit bigger than it already is. And of course, the whole reason we talk about Alpine in F1, I mean, a lot of people, especially in the United States, may not be aware of the Alpine brand at all, because at the moment you cannot buy Alpine cars in the United States. So the whole reason that brand is in F1 with a company that's with a team that's owned by Renault, is because they want to promote that brand. They want to make it bigger. They do eventually want to start selling cars in the United States. And so all of this involvement, all of this promotion, getting big names involved in the team is part of that. And it's part of their wider strategy to essentially sell road cars. Also good news for Alpine, they've got some big plans, like almost every team in the F1 midfield. When we talk about Aston Martin, they made the step over the winter. We talk about McLaren wanting to fight for championships. Of course, Alpine want to do that too. If anything, they have massively underperformed in recent years because they are a works team. So they have their own engine department. It's based in France, but it only supplies the Alpine F1 team and works directly with them. So really, they should be up there with the likes of Ferrari, Red Bull, and Mercedes, and they're not, and they haven't been for some time. So it's been very clear, and Laurence Rossi referenced this at this launch of the announcement of the investment, that they're on this 100-race plan. They're about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way into it. And by the end of that, they need to make sure they have absolutely everything and no more excuses, absolutely everything in terms of the factory and the facilities, and no more excuses for not being up the front and fighting. So they're targeting around 2025, 2026 to be regular podium finishers and eventually championship contenders.
I think you have a really interesting article. It's a great piece on ESPN.com. You can find it now under the Formula One tab, but you outline how Aston Martin's success recently may have impacted this decision for Alpine. Can you kind of expand upon that?
Yeah, so this is something that Laurence Rossi, the CEO of Alpine, said. He was talking about all these aspirations that they have and how this investment is going to help them get up there, but it doesn't kind of explain the fact that one of their main rivals, a team they finished ahead of last year, leapfrogged them and have done exactly what Alpine have been talking about for the last 3 years, which is join the top 3 teams. And of course, yeah, we're talking about Aston Martin. And, you know, you can look at Aston Martin and say, well, look, there's all this investment that's gone in, there's the new factory and everything. Well, the car that they're racing now wasn't built in the new factory. It was actually built out of Eddie Jordan's old place with a bunch of porter cabins around it. And really it was done by employing the right people. They brought in some big technical signings. They also brought in Fernando Alonso, of course, from Alpine, which you know, it's still, I think, a bit of a sore spot at Alpine. And they've been able to do that and fight for regular podiums this year. And of course, like I said, that's exactly what Alpine want to do. So Rossi admitted that it was a bit of a wake-up call for them, a reality check. That you know, that they need to up their game and they need to be able to compete on that level.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content plus live streaming, make sure to subscribe to ESPN Player.